To the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya.
All right, how nice is that? Start off the day with a win. Yeah, we're starting off a Wednesday morning with a Texas A&M victory. Men's basketball team defeats Florida, a game that we've seen a couple times this year, right? Like many times this year. Comes down to the end. You know, in the very beginning of SEC play, they found a way to win these games. Then during an 8-game losing streak, they found ways to lose those games down the stretch. Well, yesterday, free throws were paramount. They hit them. They hit them all. They hit the big ones down the stretch. Wade Taylor comes and lives for these moments. I'm making that comment just based on last night because I like to see what I see. Game where A&M was leading most of the way. Florida takes the lead late, yet A&M did not crumble in this one. They made the winning plays, and sure, was luck involved in it? I don't care. You know, sometimes they have unfortunate events happen. The other team gets the luck. So we're gonna celebrate that victory here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And with that, we start the Go Hour with the man who keeps going. Did not get much sleep last night, late night working, and he is ready to talk about it. Olin Buchanan, good morning, sir.
What was the luck part?
I think the luck wouldn't be the fact that they got the final possession, because I think that was the right call when I saw it, but that there was only 0.5 of a second. I was really worried, but good defense all game long. So, you know what? I stand corrected. Luck is not the right way to phrase it. They've been unlucky so many times. Lucky that they weren't unlucky this time.
Yeah. Well, maybe because the guy missed the shot before the ball went out of bounds. That was the reverse, but guys miss shots. I mean, that they shot well under 50% if my memory serves. I thought A&M played really well on the defensive end.
All game long.
I thought they were clutch. I mean, yeah, they let a 12-point lead get away from them. They went from up 12 to down 4 in about, 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're down 4, they make the plays they have to make. It wasn't just the free throws. It was Quentin Jackson going down and hitting a shot to get them within 2. And
Look
then,
at that shooting, my gosh.
Yeah.
Both teams. And
you could say, well, it's a really good defensive game, but that's not going to explain it all. And look at that, 2 of 18 from 3-point, and you still win. I mean, it was scrappy. You know who had a heck of a game that's not going to show up in the stats?
I know who you're going to say.
Well, who?
JB.
But his kind of shows up in the stats. I'm going to say it really doesn't show up in the stats is Andre Gordon.
Okay.
How many – I can think of about 2 or 3 times when he came in and took an offensive rebound away from Castleton. The big 6'11" guy who A&M had trouble with him, like has been the case with big talented guys. But there was a couple times when, the ball goes on the floor and it's on the bounce. He has it, and he's going to go up, you think, and probably get a dunk. And Gordon comes out of nowhere and just takes the ball away from him or ties it up or whatever. It was those little things. That was the way they were playing defense. Now, was there sometimes he got lost and left the guy open? Yeah, but you saw a team, especially in the first half, swarming.
Yeah.
It was like A&M had more than 5 guys on the court.
Did I understand it correctly? Did they call yesterday a quad 1 victory? I thought I heard that on the broadcast. I was driving, listening to it at that point, and I thought they said it would be considered a quad 1 victory. But I say that
I think it would have been for Florida, but not
for A&M. Gotcha. I I say that because that kind of victory, yes, it's one game in a season that we've seen too much losing here in the last month. But that, like LSU, the initial LSU loss became a bunch of losses afterwards because of that loss. I feel like this could be something that gets the Aggies into a bit of a win streak. And I think they can win the next couple of games and have a 3-game win streak, because I think even though it's on the road at Vandy, I think because you feel so much better about yourself, you can win that game. You can certainly beat Georgia here at home. And now you're feeling much better about the direction that you're going with a road game to Ole Miss and then Alabama here.
Well, you called last night's game winnable. And I would think every game on the schedule is winnable and every game's still losable.
Sure.
But maybe that's the jump start that they needed. Maybe that's the defibrillator they needed, and they'll be able to play well. Again, you mentioned Javonte Brown. I thought he played really well for his role, and they just, Quentin Jackson played well, shot 16 of 16 at the free throw line. Did a lot of things well.
They did a lot of things. Here's what I loved about yesterday. And maybe it's because they ended up winning. I'm seeing things a little rosier. But I felt like the defense, the intensity was up a notch all game long that we hadn't seen the last couple games before that. And yes, they took on Auburn. Kind of hard to beat that team. I get it. But there was just a little bit more oomph, if you will, all game long.
Oh, I'll agree with that. Again, I think even more so in the first half, which makes sense because you're fresher. But it seemed like for Florida, every time somebody get the ball and turn around, there'd be somebody on them.
Yep.
They'd go the ball inside into Castleton, and he would be triple teamed. And if he kicked it out, they were rushing over so quick that they were taking away wide open shots. Florida scored 20 points in the first half, and they got a late 3 to get there. Castleton had 6 points in the first half. I mean, you'll take that anytime. So I thought defensively they played really well. They didn't shoot threes well. They gave up 20 offensive rebounds, which is a lot, but I thought they would give up a lot.
Did Florida seem like they did not impress me at all. They didn't seem like last 4 out into the NCAA tournament kind of team. And I'm not going to base it off one game that I've watched them play. I've seen them play maybe 3 games this year, but they just didn't strike me as a very good team.
Well, and how much did A&M have to do with that?
Yeah.
Or were they having an off night? Or are they overrated? I don't know. I know that I was watching that game from the A&M perspective. And had A&M been able to shoot threes, A&M could have won comfortably. But I think what I came away so impressed with is, again, they lost that 12-point lead, and they're down 4. Quentin Jackson makes a big shot. They come down. Mm-hmm. They force a miss, and Henry Coleman gets a big defensive rebound, which cannot be overstated how important that is because, like I just said, they had 22 offensive rebounds. And then they come down, miss a shot, and they scramble around to force a tie ball and had the possession arrow going their way. So even when they miss the shots, you could, oh gosh, here we go. When your team is in an 8-game losing streak, mm-hmm. a lot of teams can have a defeatist attitude anytime something goes wrong. But Tyrese Radford got in there and tied up the ball. There were some other guys around. And then Wade Taylor gets that opportunity. And how much pressure? You got an 8-game losing streak. You're down 2. There's 30 seconds to go. And you're at the free throw line, and you hit 3 free, and none of them were that you had to hold your breath on.
No.
Bam, 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 and all of a sudden you have the lead, and then they get the stop on the other end and win the game.
I was watching the game with a buddy of mine, and I don't know why, and I'm not saying this to brag, but I felt that Wade was going to hit all 3. There was something and I'm very pessimistic during games, for the record. Anybody who watched the games with me know, but there was something like, you know what, they're going to win this game because they deserve to win this game. They deserve to win the Kentucky game. They didn't get it. This was a game I thought they deserved to win, and they won.
It was funny because Logan Lee, the world's nicest guy, also must be the world's most superstitious guy. So I'm needling him. And at one point I say, hey, Logan, they're up 12. And I said, A&M hadn't had that scoring drought that they always say. What are you talking? Why are you bringing that up? And then they had it.
Then they had the scoring
and then
drought, yeah.
When Larry, I did it again. When Wade Taylor goes to the free throw line, I'm saying, hey, Logan, hadn't missed a free throw all night. Why do you want to bring that up?
I kind of agree with Logan. You don't bring it up. You don't bring the I guess they were 13 of 13.
I don't believe in jinxes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're not possible, but people love to pick them out.
I want to needle Logan with that. He was so stressed about the way the game was going. You know, he played for A&M, 20 years ago almost, and he still lives and dies with every single possession. I think he values every single possession of A&M basketball sometimes more than the players themselves because it's so important to him. And I love that about him.
I do too. Let's go around the room and say hello. Dalton Hughes, good morning, witty sir.
Witty? What did I do to deserve that title today?
I think you are good on social media when you tweet out there. Don't you do a bunch of our tweets?
A lot of people would disagree. Would throw that out there. Yeah.
Trying to give you a compliment today. Sorry, I won't do it again.
No, I don't do well with those. Yeah, good to get back in the win column. Need a couple more, and we'll call it a winning streak to counterbalance said losing streak. Of course, you got to go play at the theater stage
I hate that.
On Saturday, which is always interesting no matter how good the team on the other side is.
They call it, venerable and, classic. Look, it's an old dump. The Vanderbilt gym is an old dump.
Never been.
Hadn't missed anything unless you like old dumps.
No, not a fan of dumps at all. All. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa Peterson, good morning to you.
Good morning, and I just want to preface, I promise I'll stop talking about Valentine's Day and love.
Here we go.
After I give you these two updates. So first, Alex Bregman and his wife Reagan announced on Valentine's Day that they're expecting their first child this summer. And on Valentine's Day, Simone Biles and Texans Jonathan Owens got engaged. So pretty big.
Isn't Reagan an Aggie?
I should check on that. I'm pretty sure she is, though.
Yeah, I think she's an Aggie.
Yeah.
Simone Biles not an Aggie, but
no, but
awesome.
If A&M had a gymnastics program, she might have been.
She might have been. She's pretty good. Sorry, Billy called me out on it.
He doesn't like the Larry David thing.
Apparently, there's a counter every time I do it. They're
ding,
ding, ding, ding. So I'm gonna start finding things that they say and do.
Did y'all like the Larry David Super Bowl commercial?
I like anything Larry David does.
Yeah, it was good.
And Olin is a little sore subject for you, right?
It's not a sore. I just think it's ridiculous.
Who called you Larry David? Ronnie?
Broninger's always called me Larry David. I just don't see the connection.
The connection is you say what's on your mind, and he does too.
Yeah, but I don't typically get in as much trouble.
Not yet.
When I get in trouble, it's when I'm talking politics, because some would not like for me to talk politics. But as far as Larry David, he. By the way, I love that show.
Best show ever.
But he always gets in trouble, accident. And a lot of times it's not his fault, right? It's the way other people perceive things, and he just gets himself in trouble by not letting things go.
I would never replace you on this show unless Leon wanted to be my co-host.
Oh,
his roommate,
JB Smooth.
Yes,
that guy's funny.
Yeah, if he wanted to live here or do the show here, I'd be sorry, OB. I love you. You can still write your columns, but I want this guy here in studio. Other than that, there's nobody that could replace the great Olin Buchanan. What else you got for us, Anna Rosa?
So I got some topics trending in A&M right now. A&M men's swimming and diving team from Curtis Matthews brought home a silver medal to highlight the first day of SEC championships. This was Tuesday night at the Jones Aquatic Center. Matthews made the first podium appearance of the week for the Aggies, while the 200 medley relay team earned a spot at the NCAA championships. And also in men's swimming, senior swimmer Peter Simmons was named to the 2022 Men's Swimming and Diving Community Service Team. This was announced on Tuesday. In women's swimming and diving, the competition at the SEC Championships was Tuesday night at Jones Aquatic Center, and Chloe Stepanek lowered her own 200 free school record. And also in senior swimming. I promise this is the last swimming note. Molly Wright was named to the 2022 SEC Women's Swimming and Diving Community Service Team, announced also on Tuesday. The community service team looks to highlight an athlete from each school who gives back to their community in superior service efforts. So congratulations.
You much of a diver?
No, not much of a diver. You much of a swimmer?
I mean, I can keep from drowning.
When's the last time you went for a swim? Not like a dip in the pool, an actual swim.
I don't.
1989.
I would go into the pool and I'd swim a couple of laps.
David, I would assumed you were a big fan of diving.
Not a big fan of diving.
Really? I thought you were a big Ronaldo guy.
Dalton's always trying to be witty.
This must be a soccer joke.
It's a Salter thing. You know, by diving, he must mean the world's greatest header ever. He dives into it. That's what you mean, I'm sure.
I might be on the 10-meter board, maybe if they would, if you could score with a can opener.
Right.
Yeah, I go Olin Buchanan doing the can opener on the 10-meter
Dalton,
triple Indy.
Dalton, let me tell you this before we hit a break. I didn't want you to bring up soccer at all because, as you know, yesterday was a very devastating day for me. My team lost in the 94th minute to the guy who's eventually going to go play for us. I would appreciate you didn't bring up soccer for the next 2 weeks.
You've been telling me that guy was going to play for you for like 2 years now. Still hasn't happened.
I've known you for not even a calendar year yet, but thanks for playing. Thanks for playing the game. I know you've been, Googling me for a couple years.
Barcelona?
That's
right.
No, come on, man. See, don't insult me. That's like saying the University of Texas. I'm a Real Madrid guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I knew it was one of those Spaniards.
And we lost yesterday, but Mbappe is great. Let's talk a little Association of Former Students. Appreciate all that they do for Aggies all around the world. It's not just here. Like, obviously, they take care of people here, but they're doing it all around the world. I highly recommend you go check out their YouTube page and see all the great human interest stories they have put together. They've been doing it for over 140 years. Your financial gifts have empowered them to be here, to be there, to be everywhere, and they've been doing that for such a long time, and they do it to everywhere, like literally student organizations on campus, around the globe, Aggie Band for Travel, the Visitor Center, the Fish Drill Team. There's a long, long list of the ways they have impacted Aggies around the world, which means you can impact Aggies as well. And by doing that, all you have to do is $9 a month, $100 a year to become a Century Club member. You get the plaque, you get the decal. You also get the Texas Aggie magazine, plus you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies out there. If you want to learn more about their impact, to make a gift or get involved, whatever you want to do with it, visit AggieNetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Alzheimer's Foundation of America is hosting a free virtual conference for Texas residents on Wednesday, March 9th. Attendees will learn about healthy aging, a variety of Alzheimer's-related topics, and more. Visit alzfdn.org for more information. The Bryan Police Officers Association is now accepting applications for the Mark Hyatt Scholarship, open to any Brazos County resident. Apply online at bryantx.gov/police. The deadline is March 11th. The Cushing Memorial Library and Archives announces their new exhibition, Unexpected Treasures, on the Texas A&M campus. Selections from the Cushing Memorial Library and Archives collections. The exhibit will run through April 22nd. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Since 1957, Slovacek Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovacek is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovacek. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovacek Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
It's time to do your civic duty and make sure the best candidates get elected for office. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia, and I'm asking you to re-elect me as your Brazos County District Clerk. I have a passion for public service, and I've made a number of positive changes in the District Clerk's office, including added deputy clerks in court, stressing the importance of preserving and archiving records, and adding a Clerk 1 position without raising the salary budget. Re-elect me, Gabriel Garcia.
Paid for by Gabriel Garcia Campaign, Pet Septic Treasurer.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Would you like to win a pair of tickets to see Journey in concert? It's Rodeo Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, thanks to Catalina Hatters and Texas Rose Boutique. Every Monday, listen for me to play a Journey song. When you hear the music play, open arms, don't stop believing. When you hear Journey play on the Louis Bellina Show, be caller number 11, and you win a pair of tickets to see Journey at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's every Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, Rodeo Monday, thanks to Texas Rose Boutique and Catalina Hatters.
All right, OB. This is not your typical song. It's not an OB banger. You know what the song that is?
No.
Today Was a Good Day by a gentleman by the name of O'Shea Jackson. You familiar with Ice Cube?
I am familiar with Ice Cube.
All right, not to make it a rap show. We're not going to make it a rap show, but I think that
I prefer Crushed Ice, but yeah.
I think that song is fitting because after you're on a losing streak and you find a way to win, and I've made this comparison before, it's a good day, man. Like, the traffic isn't too bad. The coffee tastes better. Like, I get irritated easier during a losing streak when the Aggies lost to LSU that next week in football. That next week was horrendous. Everything, the coffee was bad. It was cold. Every restaurant I went to, hair in the food. But like today, it's going to be a good day, man. Aggie men's basketball team found a way to win.
Enjoy. I wonder if Florida isn't starting to look at A&M with some disdain, the same way A&M say it looks like at LSU. When
Sure.
we're talking, because now I don't know what goes on in baseball. I don't even know when they played Florida last in baseball. But to beat them in basketball, I think the last time they had played in basketball, it's probably wrong. They probably lost to them last year. But I can remember, or I'm told that the year A&M last went to the Sweet 16, I think it was, that they beat Florida pretty bad in the SEC tournament. Now they beat them here. Football, they've been beating Florida. Beat them, of course, 2020.
We get them again here. Caulfield
this year.
Yeah, that's good. It is TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. A lot of great text messages there on the A&B text line. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas Banking is the website. Excuse me, that's the name of their slogan. Their website is amb.com. Anna Rosa Peterson, I know we're going to get into the word of the day, but you got a couple text messages for us.
I do. Tyler from Tomball says, great win. Wade Taylor needs to start in place of Marcus Williams moving forward. Williams continues to be in his sophomore slump, and Taylor provides an undeniable energy that everyone feeds off of. I was also impressed with the free throw shooting last night.
Yep. Marcus Williams, I will tell you this. He has struggled this year. There's no doubt about that. That's not breaking news. But he does bring an element to the team that if he figures it out or when he figures it out, they need. They need a point guard that can drive the way he does, that doesn't necessarily think shoot first. He's just, when he shoots, he's just been totally in his head. And the adjustment to the SEC, I think, has been more difficult than he probably expected than we expected.
Maybe so. And as far as Wade Taylor goes, I'm very excited about the future with him. But he does have those freshman games where he's having that freshman season where he may be spectacular one game and might disappear the next.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens when they play up in Nashville.
All right, Anna Rosa, any more text messages?
Yeah, I'll hit one more. Tony in Lexington says, Lucci's counter would count, in quotes, N-O, by the way.
And that is in reference to my counter of always saying, pretty, pretty. Don't, that doesn't count. I'm repeating it. Don't. You can't put that on the counter.
I hear your imitation of Larry David.
It's terrible.
No, I think it's pretty good.
Now you need to start using it. Yes, sir. Let's annoy management. Let's do that.
I've been doing that for 40 years.
Didn't start with Larry David.
I think management, especially when I worked in Austin, was highly annoyed by it. Imagine a staunch conservative with a personality like mine in Austin, of all places.
You ever drink at Mocha Joe's?
No.
No, you should try Mocha Joe's.
Is it a coffee place?
It's a coffee place.
No, of course not. I don't drink coffee.
It's a Larry David comment. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mocha Joe's.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a place called that over in Austin.
I think it'd be
they have
great.
Java something.
Somebody should create a Mocha Joe's. Let's go back to Anna Rosa Peterson. Anna Rosa, you've got our word of the day.
I do. And it was honestly an obvious choice for me because I feel like, in my opinion, it is the most trending word/phrase that I've witnessed. And so it's called push and pee. If you've heard of it.
Hold on.
Push and pee.
This sounds like a direction that we should not go.
And no, it doesn't
Sounds
mean
like
pee
me
as
at
in
3 o'clock
what would
every night.
No, it wouldn't. Not pee as in
Yeah, it's okay.
pee.
You don't have to explain.
P as in the letter. So I know that's confusing. It's not push and pee like that. But it means a lot of different things. But I've done my research and I've gathered that it mainly means keeping it real. And P, that's just what I've found.
Huh.
And so.
And what does keeping it real mean?
Come on now.
You don't know what keeping it real means, Olin?
Olin, you keep it real in the show.
on.
You keep it authentic. You are keeping it real.
Exactly. You keep it real every time you let us know your opinions on things that could potentially be controversial. You're pushing P on those politics. But this phrase blew up by the rapper Gunna and Future. David, you may have heard of Future.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Gunna.
Okay, he's rather new, but they released their song Pushin' P. And so everyone's been listening to it.
Can we use it in a sentence? Because I guarantee you, I will never in my life be talking to somebody and be like, that's pushing P.
Okay, well, so most people, if they're going to use it in a sentence, just abbreviate push and P to P. So they'll say that's P, which I've kind of interpreted to mean that's cool or not cool. Like if you wake up to a beach view, that's P. That's keeping it real. Or if you do something stupid, like if I were to mispronounce someone's name on air, which happens way too often, that's not P of me. If you are holding a door open for a woman, that's P. But if you're arguing with your partner about money, that's not P. And this is what the rapper Gunna said on Instagram Live. So those are his words.
So, before I move on to the next segment, I'm trying to understand. Do we know what P stands for?
Well, so
is there a word that it came from?
I don't think there's an exact word it came from other than player. That's what
pushing player,
pushing positivity. There's so many different meanings. The main meanings are keeping it real and player. That's really all you need to know. But people have kind of taken this word and put it into their own context and create their own new definition. So it's very elusive and vague. So you kind of just have to go with it. If you've heard of the phrase, if you know, you know, that's kind of what it's like.
If you know, you know.
P is, from what I read online, it is not learned, it's understood. So you just have to know it.
Kind of pushing P. I take some medication to try to help me with that.
Yeah, I don't think you have to push. It just comes.
Wait another 15 years.
That reminds me of the great Chappelle skit when keeping it real goes wrong. I don't know if you've ever watched that one, but that's
I think I have actually.
That is a good one. All right, let's get back on task. We've got Charean Williams coming here on the program.
She's always pushing P.
I forgot what it meant. So
keeping it real.
Oh, that's right. She is keeping it P or pushing it P.
OB is the original P pusher, according to Brent.
I can't use this term on the show anymore. It's got to be. It's out. Hey, thank you, Anna Rosa. As always, great stuff. So here, in about 30 minutes, Chance McClain, my buddy, will be here in studio. He's the guy who runs Heritage Films. Excited to chat with him. He'll be talking not about Heritage Films. I'm sure it'll come up. We're going to talk about the old days of him starting 1560 the game, the Yao Ming song that I don't know if anybody's ever heard before. You should have heard. It was a global hit. He created that song. That was his song. So we'll talk about that and just the old days and his love for this university now that his daughter Gunn is going to school here. He's really gotten immersed in everything A&M. So we'll have some fun chit-chatting a little bit about the old days that I had with him in Houston and just his love for Texas A&M. But he also has a love for your story, and that's what Heritage Films is all about. They tell your story. They tell your dad's story. They tell your uncle's story. And it's no longer do you have to play the game of telephone. One of the beauties of Chance coming to your house is the fact that he'll show up, he'll light it, he'll do the whole thing, but he'll capture your story on film And this is something that will be captured for generations to come. So I don't remember stories that well. Like my dad will tell me about the street he grew up on, his buddy, Jose, whatever, right? Pepe Ferro, all these names that he's told me over the years. And I kind of got the story, but now I'm going to have it on film and something that my kids can watch, that their kids can watch, and their kids can watch. You see what I'm saying? This is the way to keep your story for generations to come. Check out yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
Well, here we are, face to face. A couple of silver spoons. Damn, you guys are good. Nuño and OB on the Go Hour. During TexAgs Radio. Mornings at 8 on the Zone.
ProFrac Services is a leader in hydraulic fracturing services and wants you to join their winning team. ProFrac Services is hiring in East Texas. Positions include frac equipment operator, mechanic, electronic technician, field technical advisor, and more. ProFrac offers housing, job bonuses, and daily per diem. Walk-in interviews are in Marshall, Texas on February 23rd between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Must have an application completed online and a valid driver's license. Learn about ProFrac's job opportunities, application, and interview location online at profrac.com. PROFRAC.com.
If you own construction equipment and need replacement rubber tracks, now's the time to get $200 off your next set of rubber tracks at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan. Hurry in. $200 off rubber tracks in soon. Highway 21 East at Marino Road or click WPI.com.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place? You know, that spot that only you know about? And instead of what you came for, you found something a little different. What if instead of your private stash, you found a simple phone number? 1-800-662-HELP. What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Would you make the call? The truth is, all drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, before drugs turn your life upside down, before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. If you or someone you love is struggling with drug use or prescription drug misuse, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, or go to samhsa.gov/thereishelp.
This is ESPN Radio.
James Robinson, Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up, big game, James?
What's up? Defensive Player of the Year again. WTJ Watt.
I appreciate you guys having me on here. Takeo Spikes, former All-Pro.
When they won the AFC Championship, I felt like I had been part of it.
San Francisco 49ers, Deebo Samuel.
Once the season started, I was in the best shape that I've ever been playing.
Rams Super Bowl winning head coach Dick Vermeil.
I said when he came out, he was the most accurate passer I've ever seen come out of college.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Isaac Bruce.
When you have a prolific season like Cooper Kupp, now without a doubt, Offensive Player of the Year.
Ron Rivera, Washington Commanders head coach.
It took us a little bit to get used to the Washington football team, so now we're in the same situation again.
Michael Parsons joins us.
The light shouldn't affect you. You affect the lights. The lights is going to follow you. So if you're ready for the moment, it's up to you to take advantage of it.
Listen in to ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio, 1150 and 93.7 FM.
The song's Keeping It P. Or what is it? Push and P.
Push and P.
Johnny Lee.
It's a great song.
You don't know it, but
no, I've heard it though. What language am I speaking? How can I have? I've heard this song. How about that?
Okay. I've heard it many times.
I bet you have.
Johnny Lee.
It is not on my playlist, but it doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. Does not mean I don't appreciate it. Let's go to the BCSI hotline. Shireen Williams was busy all.
I bet you Shireen Williams has listened to some Johnny Lee and heard it in her day.
100%
from Orange, Texas.
Good morning, Shireen.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. So I'm sorry.
Pushing P.
We're pushing P here. That's but I'm sorry we woke you up. I know you're still adjusting to the Central Time. You were there on the Pacific Time for a week.
Yeah, you think 2 hours isn't that much, and I wanted to sleep all day yesterday. So still a little dragging, I'm actually going to play tennis today at Colonial, so I'm on the road in traffic. So welcome back to Texas.
Let's go. Hey, how was your Super Bowl experience? What did you think of everything?
It was awesome. I mean, it was a really good week. The weather was just absolutely perfect in Los Angeles, maybe a little bit warm. People were complaining about the heat wave. They were telling them how to avoid heat stroke and heat exhaustion. And I'm like, okay, really? This is February. We don't even have this in Texas. But it was hot. I'm not going to lie. It was really, really hot. Especially, I stayed 2 different places. So I stayed downtown L.A. There's no breeze. And then for the weekend, we moved out to the Marina Del Rey, which is really nice on the water when you got the breeze and the weather was a little bit nicer. We were closer to the stadium. The stadium's just it's beautiful. As everyone says, the best stadium in the world. It's unbelievable how nice it is. So I did find one flaw, though, and they actually got it fixed because everyone walked in. They said, the stadium's been open for 2 years. You won't find anything wrong with it. It's perfect. And immediately, I found the flaw. They had all the TVs turned to the video boards, and so they didn't show very good replay. So when Odell Beckham went down with a non-contact injury, we didn't get a replay of it because it's on the video boards. But they eventually changed it to the network feed, and the replays were much better. But it is a perfect building, I would say, and everything about it is just so nice. Get a chance to go to a game there, I would highly recommend going to a game. Cowboys play there next year. Maybe the opener. The Super Bowl champion always plays that Thursday night game. It may be Cowboys and Rams like it was Cowboys Buccaneers last year.
Which of those teams, Cincinnati or the Rams, do you think would be more likely to return to the Super Bowl next season?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think long-term, obviously, the Bengals are built for better success than the Rams. But, you look at Burrow and you look at Jamar Chase and their ages and how young they are. You're like, they're going to get tons more chances to get back to this game and win this game. And then you start thinking about Dan Marino in his second year and never got back and never won a championship. And, you think about how close the Bengals were really to not being there. I think if the Chiefs had kicked the field goal there before the half instead of coming up with no points, I think that game's over. And they would have lost that game. So you just think about how close their games were and yet had to go right for them to get there. And you think, it's not that easy just to say we're going to get back next year. So having said all that, we know the cap problems that the Rams have. They're going to have to renegotiate a bunch of contracts, which they can do, and they can keep Vaughn if they want to keep Vaughn and be able to do that. But I just worry about them long-term not having the draft picks. They've just given those away to put all their chips in the middle of the table. So I guess I would say if you're just talking about next year, with the way the AFC is stacked with all those young quarterbacks, I'd probably say coming out of the NFC is easier. But honestly, I don't think either one of them will be back next year. The Chiefs, after they won it a couple years ago, 3 years ago now, started talking about we're going to win 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls, and it's not that easy. Winning the first one's hard, and winning the second one's even harder.
Charean, I do want to ask you about the Chiefs because I saw them trending last night on Twitter. But first, we've had this dialogue before, right after the NBA Finals. How nice has it been to see, you got a bunch of Aggies featured in the Super Bowl, and, Bobby and Vaughn are winning it. We saw it in the NBA Finals with Chris Middleton. We see it at the World Series on both teams this past year, the Braves and the Astros. We see it with the Olympics, Mo, obviously. Just how much Aggie star power is out there winning.
Yeah, and, it's exciting, and I listened to Vaughn's press conferences all week, and, he starts with howdy and he ends with gig'em. So you can't ask for better representation than Von Miller of what Texas A&M means and what it means to him and how important it is. And he's just a good ambassador for the university, and you love seeing that from a great player. And he probably will be the next Aggie in the Hall of Fame. I think Lester Hayes has been overlooked. I think Richard Webb's been overlooked, but maybe they continue to get overlooked. But I do think Vaughn is the next guy to go in to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and join Yale Larry in there. And what great representation he'll be for A&M. But yeah, it's so good when you can turn on a championship game or whatever it is and watch Aggies competing for championships. It's really cool.
I'm going back to just talking football here.
Yeah.
So today, who would you predict would be your Super Bowl teams next year? Who do you think you're going to look at and say, man, that's a team to beat in each conference?
Well, I think
since you said the Bengals and the Rams probably won't be back.
Yeah. Well, history says that. History just tells you how hard it is to repeat, and it's hard to look past the Chiefs and the AFC simply because of Patrick Mahomes and what they've been able to do, and they've been in the championship game, AFC championship game every single year, and had a chance to go to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. So I think that's where you start with the Chiefs. But it seems like that Josh Allen's going to get it done for the Bills at some point. So if I had to pick one, I'd probably start with the Bills and say that's probably going to be my pick out of the AFC. I mean, I thought they might have been the best team in the NFL this season, just couldn't get it done late in that Chiefs game, but played really, really well. And, a lot in the NFC depends on if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. If Rodgers comes back, it's the same story in the NFC with the Packers, the way they get to the championship game every year. It's really hard to not say the Packers aren't going to be there because you figure they're going to be there. So I would go Packers with Rodgers and probably the Bills with Josh Allen. But again, we're talking about, you talk about the teams with the best quarterbacks, and that's what it takes. And that's what it takes usually in college football, too. You've got to have that quarterback to be able to get you over the top and get you a championship. And if the Packers don't have that, certainly you don't like their chances as much as if they do have Aaron Rodgers.
So, I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah.
So I want to, make the early picks, get the good odds, and get an expert opinion, so I don't have to rely on my own ignorance.
Well, you've got the expert right there.
And I'll say this, Olin. A lot of people are saying, "Well, I'm gonna bet on the Cardinals because they host the game, and the last 2 championships have been won by the home team hosting the Super Bowl." But I don't know what's going on with Kyler, so that one kind of scares me a little bit. I don't know who's going to be their quarterback next year, what they're going to do. So kind of interesting development in Arizona, but I don't know that Kyler's played well enough, frankly, to say that the Cardinals are going to be a favorite to get into the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, especially the division they're in. I mean, they're going to have to play better than what they did in the second half of the season and what they've done in second halves of seasons ever since Cliff Kingsbury's been there, and that's kind of his MO going back to his tech days.
Charean, you mentioned the Chiefs earlier. I saw some stuff on Twitter. I don't know how much of it is rumor or whatever, and I don't want to necessarily get into rumors, but what's the situation there? Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, one of the top quarterbacks in all of football, but are things in harmony there?
Yeah, I think they're okay. I think, I think Patrick's happy there. I think they're in tune with what they're doing. These quarterbacks now, a lot of them want say in personnel, and I get it. I mean, they're fully invested. They're paid like CEOs of companies, and they want some say in personnel and what happens, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And, with what we saw with Tom Brady bringing some guys in, and they followed him, and they were able to win a championship. So a lot of times with these quarterbacks, that's what it comes down to. And I don't know what Kyler's beef is with the Cardinals. It could go back to his contract because he is eligible for a contract now, and maybe the Cardinals have told him, hey, we're not giving you a contract this year. We're going to, we got 2 more years that we have you under contract, so we're just going to wait another year, kind of what they did with Baker Mayfield and what the Ravens have done with Lamar Jackson. So I don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, the offseason, you always hear about a lot of these things. Last offseason, it was Russell Wilson, and I think that's going to pop up too. And there is going to be some quarterback movement. There's no question about that. That's what it is in the NFL now. And, players see that they can – happened over the last 2 years, quarterbacks I'm talking about, see that they can go somewhere else and maybe have a chance to win it like Tom Brady did with a different team. And teams see if we don't stand pat and we don't think our quarterback can get it done, like the Rams, we can change quarterbacks and we can get it done with a different quarterback. So I think you're going to see in the future, it's started, it's happening. You're going to see a lot of quarterback movement, which is very unusual in previous decades, previous years. It's, this is only a recent development over the last 2 years that we've seen quarterbacks change teams, big-time quarterbacks change teams like they have over the last couple of years. But I think it's a trend now. I think it's going to continue to keep happening with quarterbacks wanting to go elsewhere and teams wanting to change quarterbacks, even if they have a good one.
Charean, one last thing for you. Let me ask you about the battalion. What does it mean to you? I know that it's been trending for obvious reasons, but I know you hold it dear to your heart.
Yeah, I do, and that's where I learned more, on the job of doing it. It was like an internship, a paid internship at that, but, was able to make all my mistakes there and really learn how to write and things you do and things you don't do, and, really on-the-job experience. I learned more there than I did in the classroom, frankly, at A&M, and it was the best learning ground that any journalist could possibly have. So I'm glad that President Banks has rethought this and given them a chance now to make a case why the print product is important. And I do think it's still important. Once a week, I think, is doable. They're not, it's all advertising money. They're not losing any money on this, so I just think that it's important for the printed product to continue for journalism if we're going to have a good journalism department. I think we all want, especially those of us that graduated in, we all want a good journalism department. So we have a chance now with what they're doing with the Department of Journalism and this working committee. We have a chance now to make this a really good major, and I hope that's what ends up happening, that this turns out to be a world-class program where we get world-class students and world-class professors in there, and hopefully that's how it works out. But, yeah, it's very important to me and very important, I think, that we continue to print product as it has happened into the 1800s until now. We don't need to end that.
Charean, we appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Charean Williams, Hall of Famer right there on the show. Appreciate her time, as always. All right, right now I want to talk about the Aggie loan expert, Christine Engler, class of 97. She's great, guys. You need to give her a call or check out the website, aggieloanexpert.com. Now, if you thought the real estate market was hot this past year, but just wait. Right now, obviously we're still very early on in the year, but they are pre-approving record numbers of borrowers right now looking to buy a home. Competition is fierce out there. So when you're looking to get a home, right, you should get pre-approved right now through Christine and her great team. She's got a 5-minute loan approval that's going to get it all done. Check it out, aggieloanexpert.com, aggieloanexpert.com. She's got great reviews on Google. Check those out. Just know that she's a great Aggie. She cares about you during the process. She's going to close you as quickly as possible. And as I mentioned right there, getting that pre-approval done, 5-minute loan approval right now with Christine Engler. It is NMLS number 1309378 and company NMLS number 1324641, equal housing opportunity.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. With an easy refinance, save over $350 a month. NMLS 1309378, equal housing opportunity. The Arts Council of Brazos Valley awards multiple scholarships each year to deserving young artists in the Brazos Valley. Find more information and apply for available scholarships at acbv.org/scholarships. The Brazos County Master Gardener Spring Plant Sale is Saturday, March 26th from 8 to 11 a.m. at the Brazos County Extension Office. Bring your wagon and load up. Registration is now open for the Bike MS Texas MS 150. The 2-day race starts April 30th and ends at Kyle Field. Register at bikemstexas150.org and use code Aggie25 for 25% off your registration fee. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Grab your first cup of coffee weekday mornings with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor right here on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus, online at RadioAggieland.com. WC Tractor, your local award-winning Kubota in New Holland. Do you have questions? Look them up online at WCTractor.com. That's WCTractor.com. You can also call them at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
The green of the grass, the brown of the dirt. Pitcher versus batter. Bases loaded, 2 outs. A 3-2 count. The pressure builds. This is college baseball. Catch all of the action right here on the Texas A&M Sports Network.
Listen to Aggie Baseball on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM and online at RadioAggieland.com.
Push P. Yeah, push P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P.
Was not expecting this song.
Is this your first time hearing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
What is this?
This is your.
This is
we're
the
not gonna say.
song.
We're not gonna say what it is, but it's pushing.
Okay.
We're pushing, just in case. I'm just worried
All
the
right.
FCC is gonna call us like, no, pushing P is not good. Even though Anna Rosa told us it's on Google Dictionary. Huh.
There are a lot of interpretations of it. I just told you what I found to be the most popular, and if people,
You don't have to defend yourself.
I'm just letting you
You're
know.
in the family.
Do you actually, in your life, in your everyday life, use all these terms that?
No. Every now and then, but I just see them. My friends use them. Every now and then I'll
okay.
sprinkle it into my vocabulary, but not really.
Okay, so you've been capping.
I'm not capping. I'm just spreading the wealth of knowledge to our listeners.
We are TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Real quick, I do want to get a text message, but can we? I think we have time to play Mike Leach talking about Texas. Did you hear Mike Leach on Cameo talking about Texas? I thought it was kind of funny. Let's play that clip. I think we have it queued up.
Hey, Podoloff, this is Mike Leach reaching out from Aaron. Hey, he just wants me to reinforce a few points with you. The SEC isn't scared of a team that goes 5-7 in the Big 12. And then the other thing, I hear Texas loses every game that you attend, so I assume you were there in 2008 where Crabtree made the catch when Texas Tech played #1 Texas. And the other, maybe you should skip the Kansas game this year so Texas can go to a bowl. Okay, and I'll tell you, just as a personal favor, if Texas moves into the SEC, I want to personally invite you to attend every game that Mississippi State plays Texas in, because I don't want to take any chances with this. So, hey, you could personally, at my invitation, come attend every game that Texas plays Mississippi State in, because, listen, we need your help. We want your help. And listen, and you've got the magic touch. You've got the magic touch. Anybody that does 100%, Texas loses every time you attend. Hey, we need you there. Look, we got hot dogs. We got popcorn. We can get you to the beverage section, whatever you need. Anyway, Podoloff.
Who's
All
Podoloff?
right. The guy who paid for it. Thank you, OB. Great go hour. Talk to you guys here in a minute with Chance McClain in studio.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Nestle Toll House Cafe by Chip, Socorro's Second Chance Resale Shop, Superior Auto Service, and the Chocolate Gallery. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Reading is Fundamental, the nation's largest children's literacy organization, invites you to rally our children to read. Visit rallytoread.org and help your child pledge to read 100 books by Read Across America Day in March 2022. Also, watch well-known authors read their favorite books. Find activities to keep young readers motivated, and teachers can enter the Rally to Read sweepstakes for a chance to win 100 books for their own school, subject to rules. Inspire your child to read. Visit rallytoread.org today.
Listen to The Zone online at RadioAggieland.com. Don't miss Louie, Chip, TexAgs, or your favorite Aggie teams as they play on The Zone. Listen online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KCNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on The Zone. Brazos County commissioners were asked yesterday to widen the county's portion of Greens Prairie Road in between sections where the city of College Station is expanding the city section. Jerry Ransom says the city's contractor has torn up the entrance to the Sweetwater subdivision where he lives.
It's amazing to me that the county would be willing to have this, what I would consider a glaring representation of its inability to meet the needs of the growth.
Commissioners by state law could not respond to remarks from three people that were given during the public comment portion. 3 months after a majority of voters in College Station ISD said no to spending $5 million on high school athletic facilities, school board members are asked to call another bond election this year. 4 speakers during the public comment portion of last night's board meeting included Tap Benz.
It was so obvious to us that all these things were needed that we didn't do what we needed to do for our children and get out and advocate for it. But I can tell you that is on us as parents, but it won't happen again, as we will advocate and we will not fail our children again.
Last November, CSISD voters said no to additions and renovations at the Consolidated Football Stadium and upgrading the sound system at College Station High School. Texas A&M President Catherine Banks issues a statement that she has expanded the working group that is forming the university's expanding journalism department. A&M tweeted 2 students from the battalion and an undisclosed number of people the tweet described as media experts will also deal with the future of the student-operated newspaper. A 7-day criminal jury trial in Brazos County District Court ends with a former leader of a Texas A&M Christian student group being found guilty of sexual assault. 26-year-old Jacob Poppy of Lubbock said the contact with the victim in this trial and 2 other women who testified was consensual. Prosecutors say the women were the victims of date rape. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Since 1957, Slovakic Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovakic is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovakic. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovakic Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors. Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, The Sleep Station, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Wade Taylor IV sank 3 free throws in the final 19 seconds to lift Texas A&M men's basketball past Florida last night, 56-55. The victory snapped an 8-game losing skid for the Aggies, and Coach Buzz Williams says it's a great weight lifted off their shoulders.
I've been a college coach 28 years and have never been through what we've been through over the last 30 days. And the resilience and the character of our guys, if you came to practice or if you came to the film room, you would have no idea that we had lost 8 games in a row and 4 of those had been 1 or 2 possession games. And then even tonight, when it became a 1-possession game, I thought the character and the togetherness that they continued to fight with was incredible.
Quentin Jackson finished with 16 points for the Ags, who improved to 16-10 overall and 5-8 in SEC play. Aggie softball returns to the Diamond tonight as it pays a visit to Sam Houston State. First pitch against the Bearcats is at 6:30 with broadcast on Gospel 97.3 FM. And 12th-ranked men's tennis had no problem with Texas Tech yesterday, rolling past the Red Raiders 6-1 in Dallas. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Listening to The Zone on your Amazon Daughter Echo is easy. Even Louie figured it out. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, and many of your favorite A&M teams anytime, anywhere with your special friend, Alexa. Step 1, and only one time, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it all up and say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill, and listen in anytime just by saying, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Terrible.
I remember the first time I heard this song.
Me too.
Oh, it's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. That's the Yao Ming soundtrack or song that captured America in the world. And what was it, 2001, Chance?
3-ish.
2003-ish. Yeah. Chance McClain is with us. You've heard me talk about him over the years. Oh, last couple of months, not over the years. But I've known him for over a decade.
Way over.
Almost 20 years, right? Goodness gracious. He's the owner of Heritage Films. He advertises with us on the show. Also very responsible for big parts of my career. Got me on Houston radio years back. I thought it'd be great to get him here in studio to kind of relive some old times and also because you've kind of been baptized in Aggie the last few years.
Oh, man. What a rush.
Yeah.
So back in the day when I was in high school back in the 30s, I applied to 5 schools. TU, right?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say TU now. A&M, Rice, Pepperdine, and SFA, which is a throw-in because everybody gets an SFA. And it was really Texas or A&M. And I wanted to do radio, television, and film. A&M didn't have that program at all, and I think they still barely.
We're bringing journalism back, baby. We're bringing it back.
Yes. So I went to Texas and just flamed out. I mean, literally 0.0 my first semester on an academic scholarship. 0.8 my second semester. They said never come back. So that was my then I went to SFA, failed out of there too.
But and I know this is an A&M audience, but you actually have loved the tradition and you were so happy when Gunn decided to go to
my
school.
Gosh, yeah. My daughter Gunn is she's a junior here and works over at the big
12th Man?
Yeah, 12th Man Films.
Yeah.
Right. So they got 12th Man Productions, and within that is 12th Man Films, and they're working on the 12th Man documentary. So yeah. And I've now got to get steeped in a lot of this pride as a father of a proud Aggie, and I'm just the stickers are on my car. I mean, I'm in, dude.
You're all in. You watch the games. You text me during the games.
Yeah.
Your daughter is in the press box walking around during the games. It's been cool. The reason I wanted to bring you on is we've been doing your advertisement for a while, but I wanted people to get to know you because you are so many things, and I think Raheel and you are the 2 most creative people I've ever met in my life. And you took we started a station 1560 The Game, August 20th, 2007, right? But you had penciled me in to be on that crew well before all that. Like you were having me drive from Waco to do hits on Sports Radio 610. Talk a little bit about the vision to get into sports radio, because you were not a radio guy. You were a caller and a listener.
I was a faxer. Let's go back. Yeah, I would send in faxes and do calls, and I got involved in some radio promotion, started writing songs. I wrote a song about Matt Bullard, the forward, just a random, and they started playing it at the Compact Center before the Toyota Center. And so I made a little bit of a name for myself, and then I did the Yao song, and somehow turned that into a career at Sports Radio 610 as a creative director.
The Yao song also put you all over the world,
all
right?
All over, yeah. It was on David Letterman. It went viral before things went viral.
Right. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. So after working at 610 for a couple years, I didn't like the whole corporate thing, still don't, and started getting the rumblings of an idea, and a few guys contacted me and said, "Hey, will you be the program director at this new idea?" And I said, "Yes, if." And that big if was, I don't want to do regular things. I want to be different. I want to create I want to create a cult, right? People make fun of Aggie Land about, it's like a cult, but it's the best cult in the world. Well, I was very inspired by that. And that went into what we did. We wanted to be different. We wanted to become somebody's day, not just a radio show. And I think we did a good job there for a little bit.
I brag about you because back in 2007, you were talking about how the internet and visuals were going to be the way we do terrestrial radio moving forward. You were the one who pushed me to do these radio shows on TV before anybody was doing them, like Justin TV, before YouTube, Vimeo. I think we were doing very early days.
They're all there, man.
No Layups. That's where No Layups started because of an idea from Chance.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've always been on the cusp of technology stuff. I felt like, I know this, that technology doesn't ever go backwards, and it was leaning into that. So yeah, and I wanted everybody that worked for us. I did, back then a radio job was you talk to the microphone and you have thoughts and you know stats and you know quotes, and now you're a radio guy with a good voice. But I was like, no, that's no more. Now you need to be in front of the camera. You need to be able to write scripts. You need to be able to, we were doing podcasts before there were podcasts.
Yeah.
We were blogs. We were trying to do all this stuff. And I knew it would never go backwards. It's only going to go. It's still only going forward. It hadn't stopped.
And I have to give you guys a lot of props. So it was the people who started the station in Houston are legends. Lance Zerline, John Granado, and obviously Chance McClain. But then you started getting people that we have on this show. Rahil's been on when I've played No Layups. John Harris has been on this show 1,000 times. Sean Pendergast. Like, there are all these names. Frankie the Bull was your creative director.
Yeah,
like, there was you found some great talent.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously so did the gang at TexAgs bringing you over. What a great thing for them. You start with your talent, man. And even if they don't have the knowledge, the skills, make sure the personality is a good fit and that they're a good values-based hire, and then trust the rest. And that's what we did. We wanted the chemistry of a gang. And then let's make fun radio.
You also, I think, were inspired, I know I was, by 1310 The Ticket in Dallas. We have a lot of Dallas listeners.
For sure.
The fact that I don't know if Renegade Radio's that's kind of what we did, but they were like the originators of that style in sports radio.
Yeah, it was the Ticket was just magical. Bob Sturm, still keep up with him a little bit.
He comes on this show, yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to tell him I was on. He's a legend.
Yeah.
Man, he's great. Yeah, definitely. It had to go beyond the 3 B's of sports radio: beers, balls, and babes, right? That's what it used to be. And we're like, no, there's actually a lot more to this type of programming. And we would find it via the chemistry of the different people. Hey, what are you into? Rahil is a space cadet. He's so weird, but guess what? There's a lot of people that like those little weird things. I had the 5% rule, right?
Yep.
Super serve 5% of the audience in 50 different ways, and they're going to latch on and never leave you because they're going to wait for that Star Wars reference, or they're going to wait for, back in the day, The Sopranos was huge, right?
Yeah.
So we would just hold on to use Sopranos sound bites, use stuff that's out there in pop culture, and fuse it into sports and kind of guy talk stuff, and make magic.
I also laugh at, you guys brought me on as the news guy, right? Like, because you had and I was like, when you brought me on, I did things kind of newsy. Like, it took a little while for me to kind of loosen up a little bit, but I was the sports director and I went and covered things for you all. Why did you hire me? I didn't have enough experience in radio. What was wrong with you? And Rahil had no experience.
Chemistry and values. So Rahil was an intern for me at Sports Radio 610. I fell in love with the kid, right? And you were recommended by John McClain, and he's like, you're going to love this guy. He's Nuño, man. He's just great, right? So, and we went and met at a Texans game, I think, and I liked it. I'm like, this guy's an Aggie, but you're so sharp dressed and you were on point, always still on point, right? Ish. But anyway, we got along really good, and I just filed him away. Young, I thought you were 12 years younger than you were. I was like, this guy's on TV. He's in Waco. He's in College Station. He's crushing. He's young. This is our guy. And you were our guy, man.
It's the other thing that I think everybody who listens to TexAgs will appreciate this. You wanted to build a community with message boards and a chat room, just like we have right here.
Yeah.
And that made relationships. We have groups of TexAgs subscribers that are friends, lifelong friends, because of what they do on the boards and what they do when Gabe was hosting the show. He had his Section 12 group. There's all these groups that are subgroups that come from listening to an organic show.
Yeah, definitely. TexAgs, very specifically, I would say there's 2 bulletin boards if we're going back in internet lore. Clutch, remember?
Fans,
Clutch fans.
Still huge.
And TexAgs was already huge. They were a big deal. It was so much more than just a bunch of nerds in their basement typing on their keyboards. These guys were a community. In 2006 and 7, it was there. There was something there. It was inspirational. Even though we were just a radio station, we drew inspiration from here.
I do want to ask you about the vision of the Blue Light Cemetery. So,
yeah.
So people don't know what blue light it's. And I'll let you explain it, but I'll set the scene. Chance would be like, "Hey, everybody, it's midnight. Meet at the station. We're going to try to work on the frequency because we had the worst signal. It's still terrible, by the way, but it was a terrible signal back in the day. But you turned it into, I don't even know if it was legal what we did, but it was a party.
No, yeah, it was definitely. So, yeah, we would go up late at the night and maybe have a cocktail or 20 and fire up the station, take it off of our overnight programming and turn the mics on and bring guitars and bring guests and just have this middle of the night free-for-all radio show, unscheduled, unannounced, and unsafe. And go till 3 or 4 in the morning and then clean everything up so it looked normal. And then, the next day's Wednesday.
Stormtroopers showed up.
We had stormtroopers. We interviewed the Boba Fett actor, Jeremy Bulloch.
The original.
The original.
Yeah.
We called and waited on hold for 90 minutes to the UK. And it ended up getting like a $300-something phone bill. And months later, Mr. Gow, we're talking in the manager's meeting. He's like, "What is this $300 phone bill to the UK?" And I'm just really quiet. And he's like, "It must be some gambling thing." I said, "Definitely World Cup stuff. Yeah, I'll talk to the guys."
We got in trouble more than one time. I want to ask you about the first time you heard Lucci on the air, because Lucci became a fabric of what 15. We did a college football show that Lucci was a part of. In fact, beyond Lucci, Gabe did a show with me on the weekends.
Yeah, goes way back. Lucci had a charisma and an enthusiasm. And I attributed it back then to Texas A&M. Like, that's an Aggie. To me, that's an Aggie. But it turns out that's not the case. Aggies, the regular Aggies, he just has an enthusiasm and a vigor that I loved on the air. Big. Dude, we did the Southwest Conference show.
That was your idea?
Oh, yeah. So, I still think it would work.
It would work. So for those who don't know, the Southwest Conference show took all the old school Southwest Conference teams, and we would bring insiders on. Lucci would actually come to studio to do that in the middle of the night. I'll be there, and he'd bring, what did he bring? He brought, he would bring players, like former players.
Yeah.
He'd bring current players.
Yeah.
And
we'd catch up on Arkansas and
Shane Leckler.
Rice.
He brought Shane. That's who he brought.
Yeah.
And Steve McKinney.
Steve, I love Steve. Did a song for him, too.
You did a song for Steve McKinney?
Yeah, way back when.
Oh, I got to find that one.
Inside Skinny, Steve McKinney.
He would come to the studio every Monday, I believe, when we were doing it.
McKinney again. And what I liked about you and Raheel, it wasn't just it didn't have to be the best player on the field. We didn't care if we had a Matt Schaub or whoever. That didn't matter. What mattered was David Anderson had a good personality. Bring that guy in, right? We did that in Wesley Wright. All these different characters from Houston sports
I forgot about Wesley Wright. That's right.
They were the best. Those were the best shows.
I tell people, so Wesley Wright was a pitcher for the Astros that was a no-namer. And one day he was just sitting there. I was like, "Hey, can I interview you?" And he was like, "I don't even play." And I was like, "Yeah." And we developed a rapport. He actually played for a long time. Arian Foster, I don't know if you remember, was the same way. He was a practice squatter, and I put him on the show. And he loved us for the whole time he was in Houston.
Yeah. That was fine. Again, start with value, start with personality, let the rest work itself out.
Do you remember Gabe doing the show on Sundays with us?
I didn't listen on weekends.
You went, because we would do it on the road.
Yeah. I do remember y'all would, the road. Yeah, I do remember that. I just don't remember. I didn't listen.
We did it, I think, a Wings place all the time, and then Nick's place for footballs. I also want to ask you about Michael Berry, who I know people who are listening to this show are very familiar with.
Yeah.
He's a dear friend of yours.
Yeah.
You also help do his show at times. You do certain content, right?
Yeah, I do parodies. I've never left radio. Radio left me. So I do, parodies and whatever's going on in the news, I'll make a song or a bit for. And just like you, he speaks for me at the company at Heritage. And it's a great fit.
What I want to do is we got to hit a break here, do one more segment with you, and talk a little bit about how you got into the film side of things, because I was there with you as you were, I guess, developing your skills for it. You were doing some shoots for the Chronicle, and I'd be your talent, and I was terrible. So we'll talk about that, and we'll close things up before Gary Blair comes here in studio. You're listening to the TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the zone, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. There's never been a better time for a cash-out refinance. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. The Alzheimer's Foundation of America is hosting a free virtual conference for Texas residents on Wednesday, March 9th. Attendees will learn about healthy aging, a variety of Alzheimer's-related topics, and more. Visit alzfdn.org for more information. The Bryan Police Officers Association is now accepting applications for the Mark Hyatt Scholarship, open to any Brazos County resident. Apply online at bryantx.gov/police. The deadline is March 11th. The Cushing Memorial Library and Archives announces their new exhibition, Unexpected Treasures, on the Texas A&M campus. Selections from the Cushing Memorial Library and Archives collections. The exhibit will run through April 22nd. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Growing up in the Brazos Valley, John Harvey Slocum saw firsthand why our region is special. His dad taught him that hard work and doing the right thing always pays off. That's why he built a business here and is raising his kids here. Creating jobs in the Brazos Valley while protecting our quality of life is his passion. And as our next state representative, he will take those values to Austin and fight every day to keep property taxes low so Texans are never forced out of their homes, secure our borders, back the blue, and bring access to 21st century jobs to the Brazos Valley so we can stay Texas strong. We need a new leader for Bryan College Station. Let's elect John Harvey Slocum as our next state representative.
I am John Harvey Slocum. I want to go to work for you to keep Texas strong.
Paid for by John Harvey Slocum Campaign.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Would you like to win a pair of tickets to see Journey in concert? It's Rodeo Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, thanks to Catalina Hatters and Texas Rose Boutique. Every Monday, listen for me to play a Journey song. When you hear the music play, open arms, don't stop believing. When you hear Journey play on the Louis Bellina Show, be caller number 11, and you win a pair of tickets to see Journey at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's every Monday on the Louis Bellina Show, Rodeo Monday, thanks to Texas Rose Boutique and Catalina Hatters.
Our TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Hey, Chance McClain in the house. Heritage Films, my good buddy, started 1560 The Game. He's here hanging out with us. You did something, and I didn't want to call you out on it, Chance, but you did something that you know for a fact I would never do.
Mm-hmm.
You put on headphones. You don't know who's worn them.
No, I'm not a big germaphobe.
Yeah.
Don't care.
You would give me the hardest time for being a germaphobe.
You were a germaphobe.
Yeah, and I'm not alone in this office, I'll tell you that. There are other germaphobes in here.
It takes all kinds, David.
Yeah, well, you know what? It'll help fight whatever's out there by using other people's germs.
Yes.
So, hey, Chance, I did want to talk a lot about how you transitioned from radio to film to help start up Heritage Films, but you were doing videos for the Chronicle, and we would go to high school games. I think we went to a Katy game. We went to another one. We'd shoot a stand-up from the game. You'd shoot highlights, and we'd do this rap for the Houston Chronicle. That's kind of how it started for you, right?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I had done a little bit before that, but McClain again, John McClain, when I left...
There goes your phone.
Dropped my phone.
That's broken.
When I left Sports Radio 610, I had a 6-month non-compete that I honored and didn't work at all at the station. So I went and worked for the Chronicle doing videos. And so I'd bring in these, again, I wanted to get to know you more. Right. I had brought Frank in, brought Raheel in. I had a bunch of people come in just to get to know him. But yeah, that's the first time I ever was compensated to do video work. Then I filmed a little movie thing, a musical movie thing, did a Broadway play that went to New York. I was involved in the arts and involved with lots of visual things. But as far as how I made this my job, after working with video for a while, I got fired, right, from 1560. because it was getting more corporate, and
we became much more corporate. Right?
I didn't fit in anymore. So they said goodbye. And I didn't know what to do. I was basically unemployable, but I'd been playing with video for years. And I was like, I'm going to give this a go. So I gave it a go, and still giving it a go and loving it.
And you didn't like radio for a little bit afterwards, right? Oh, sports radio, I should say.
Yeah.
You took a little bit of a break from sports radio.
Yes, still on it.
Except for TexAgs.
Except for TexAgs. You're my friend, though.
All right. Well, but unfortunately or unfortunately, most of your friends are in the sports industry, right?
Yeah, definitely. You're special, though, David.
Well, thank you. How did musicals happen? Like that, to me, that just doesn't seem like an easy transition from sports radio.
My kids, Noah and Gunn, were doing musical theater just as little kids, and I always told myself, whatever my kids are into, I'm going to be into. And they got into theater, so I was like, okay, I'll do this. And then so I wrote a show, and I was already writing music and playing with music, and submitted it for this festival in New York Musical Theater Festival, which is like the Sundance for musical theater dorks. And it got in. And so next thing you know, I'm taking a cast to New York City to play off Broadway.
How was that?
It was crazy. It was right after I got canned. It was like, oh man, I've had all this momentum going, and now I don't have any income, but we had to finish it. So we finished what we started, and it was cool. I still love New York.
During the break, we talked about how one of your first movies, Spencer Tillman and Wendy Granado, who runs ABC 13 in Houston, were your newscasters, but Spencer was in it.
Yeah, Spencer was amazing. He was our voice guy at 1562. So, you kind of meet people you know a little bit, and I never had that. I was never afraid to ask. You can ask anything. They can say no. So I said, hey, will you do this? I didn't know he had like SAG. I didn't worry about any of that stuff. He said, Jerry, my buddy will do it. So yeah.
It kind of give us an insight into that too, because Frankie the Bull would come up with this creative content, and he would send the copy to Spencer. And sometimes Spencer couldn't read what Frank sent him, but sometimes he would read it, and he'd use different types of voices to help, illustrate what Frank was trying to do.
Definitely, I liked it whenever we would send him copy, and he wouldn't know what it was. It's just words on a page to him, and he'd read some just stuff that belonged on the Urban Dictionary, and he had no idea. And then we would air it because we didn't care.
We also did a lot of prank calls of other radio stations that upset us.
Yeah.
And you, which I don't think is legal either, but you allowed me to. There was a station in Portland that we, on our air, called their show and put them on the air somehow. We did a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like we said, it was very much a bunch of guys that all got along and just throw the rule books out. How about the PSAs? You have mandatory PSAs you have to air, and I went and read the letter of the law. What do you have to do to cover your FCC obligations to air public service announcements? And it had nothing about regionality in it. So I went and found like 1970s boating PSAs from Minnesota, and that's what we would air to take care of our obligations.
Right. So how about the transition from all that to Heritage Films?
Yeah, wow. So Michael, you mentioned Michael Berry. He's got a nationally syndicated radio show, conservative sports talk. Not sports, conservative
but he does
talk.
Talk some sports, yeah.
Yeah, he does, definitely does. He just asked me out of the blue, hey, will you film my dad? I'm like, what's wrong with your dad? He said, nothing's wrong with my dad. He's 76, and I want my kids to know him like I do. So I said, sure. And that was the genesis. And from there, about a year or so later, my stepdad, who was the biggest Aggie fan you can even fathom, his son Mark, my stepbrother, was in the Corps and an Aggie and a Marine and all that stuff. But he got sick about a year later with pancreatic cancer, and I said, hey, can we film you too? And Michael ended up doing the interview, and he passed away very shortly thereafter. And it was only after that I realized, you know what, I think this is more than a business, it's important. And so now we've done like 600 films, and you wouldn't believe how often, before you came to TexAgs, about a third of the people that called me were Aggies anyway.
Right.
It was, and now I get it. I get the values. I get the traditions, and a lot of Catholics too. Catholics, if I didn't have Catholics, Aggies, there would be no Heritage Films. Catholic Aggies in particular, like
that's a big hit
it's
for you.
It's a big love Aggies so much.
And you joke with me, but it's true. You become friends with a lot of your clients who are not close to you in age a lot of times.
Yeah, man. I've done a couple 102-year-olds. What? No.
Yeah,
I filmed.
You filmed 102-year-olds.
Right. And people in their 30s. We do terminal people. It's the saddest thing in the world, but what a privilege to, I'm being invited in like that last month to get them to, pass on some things that a will won't handle. And fly all over the country. It's the greatest thing in the world. No, here's what I tell everybody. Nobody brings me in to film mom or dad or grandma and grandpa that aren't awesome.
Right.
They're the best people in the world. Your dad was. I cannot wait for you to see your film.
Well, you told me afterwards, you're like, dude, it was like after lunch and we were still like in high school. Like we hadn't moved on.
I love your dad so much.
I cannot wait. And I think, and I tell people it takes a couple months to get it done, but it is amazing work that you do.
Thank you, man.
Let's go to the A&B text line because I know Anna Rosa Peterson's got a couple text messages for Chance.
Yes, I do. Chase in Houston, a good buddy of yours, I believe, he says Chance, is the best. I owe so much of my knowledge to that man and so thankful he gave me a chance to work around so many people. People are lucky to have Chance in their life because we are better people for it.
Oh, man.
So he interned for us. He does the fan show with us often. He comes up, makes the drive, and does the show with us. But he interned with us way back in like 2009, 10, something like that.
Chase is a great dude, man. Just a big old hoss of a stud. He's a good. I got to see him at the Christmas party this year.
Yeah. And a pretty good baseball player too.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, not bad. What else you got for us, Anna Rosa?
Another text for you guys from Brad in Belton. He says, for David and Chance, I had forgotten about David Anderson. At Texans preseason camp, he signed my buddy's football as Herbie Hancock.
There you go.
That would be a very DA move.
That would be a very DA move. And you... We won't play it right now, but you sent us a Steve McKinney song.
Yeah.
I forgot how great that song was.
Yeah, definitely. When y'all have McKinney on, y'all should play it. He'll be like, well, how in the hell did you get that?
Yes, he would. Are you sticking around Aggie Land? What are you doing?
I'm hanging out for a little bit, yeah,
Okay.
and then going back to the Woodlands, back to work.
Well, I love you, brother. Thanks
love
for
you
coming
too,
in,
David.
man.
Congratulations on continued success, bro.
Thank you. That's Chance McClain, Heritage Films, my buddy, first and foremost. Right now, let's talk Caldwell Country, Chevrolet Highway 21 in Caldwell. Zach Hester, another guy who has become my friend. The guy does Ironmans. The guy does curls in the office. The guy's doing push-ups. He's doing great customer service. That's what Zach Hester does. He's just awesome at everything. And when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you're going to have an incredible experience. I'm telling you, like, if you're looking for a vehicle, that's the place you go. You can go online and do it, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com, but you can also go and visit the lot right now. If you're looking for a vehicle, you want to know that you can go somewhere that they're going to get a great value, but also great customer service and somebody who's not going to try to sell you everything on. They're going to give you what you want, and that's why people that I know love to go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. 15-minute drive. Brian of Caldwell. I'm about to cry after talking to Chance, excuse me. Just a short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with Zach and the fellas there. Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
His playlist might have Oasis, Bad Bunny, and Kanye, but he's thinking about his Aggies all the time. It's David Nuño and TexAgs Radio on The Zone.
Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. When you have cough and chest congestion, you need a medicine that's effective and long-lasting. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Mucinex 12-hour DM extended release bilayer tablets allow for immediate and extended release, relieving cough and chest congestion for 12 hours. Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Use as directed.
Our rural Texas values are under attack from liberals who want to take our freedoms, steal our elections, and open our borders. But lifetime rancher and Texan Kyle Cassell has never stopped fighting for our conservative values. In Austin, State Representative Kyle Cassell has sued the Biden administration to stop their unconstitutional federal vaccine mandate, passed legislation to increase penalties for fraudulent ballot harvesting and mail-in voting, and invested billions for a comprehensive border security solution, and will do whatever it takes to seal our southern border and stop the smuggling of immigrants and drugs into our Texas communities.
I'm Kyle Cassell, and as your state representative, I will stop Biden's unconstitutional mandates and defend the integrity of our elections, secure our power grid, and make sure we have good teachers making good pay for a job well done. I'm Kyle Cassell, and I'd be honored to have your vote for the Texas House.
Political advertising paid for by Kyle Cassell Campaign and is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Chili Fest 2022, presented by Miller Lite, is headed to Snook, Texas, April 1st and 2nd for 2 days of live music, including Saturday performances by Tanner Usray, Pecos and the Rooftops, Colby Cooper, Easton Corbin, and headliner Co Wetzel. And Friday with with Joey Greer, Treaty Oak Revival, Cody West,
Together but alone.
Mike Ryan,
This is a new song.